really quickly, and then give you an opportunity to work on your Pictionary review game just a little bit. Sound good? Alright, participant-related bias. And then tomorrow we'll talk about ethics. I used to do both this and ethics in the same day. It's a little bit too much information, plus it gives us an opportunity to step back, get a break, and work on some pure science as well. Okay, so we've got 6 research methods that we focused on so far. The 4 descriptive research methods. What are those 4? Remember the 4 off the top of your head, Ms. Williamson? Yeah, they're descriptive research methods focused on the description goal of psychology, but what are those research methods? Let's see what else we got.
Naturalistic observation.
Naturalistic, maybe that helps out. You got another one? Experiment's a good guess. It's a good guess. Not one of our 4 descriptive research methods, but it is one of them, one of our 6. Okay, we'll come back to you. Right? Yes, Ms. Osbacher? Case study, very good. Seth? Laboratory observation. Ms. Sadie? Survey, right? Then we have the experiment. That's number 5. And then what was the 6th one that we looked at yesterday? Cal? The imagery is good up there sometimes to grab our attention, but sometimes it distracts us as well. Adam? Correlation research method. Yep. So we got 6 all together. Very good. So with all these research methods, you know, the reason why we look at it is we're trying to figure out ways in which we can make psychology more objective and more like a science, right? So application of those research methods kind of gets us to that particular point. However, it's not foolproof, right? Just because we use those doesn't mean it's going to be perfect and completely objective. So as researchers start to step back from the research and start to analyze it from a broader perspective, they look at it and they say, there's some trends of bias involved in all of this research. And we got to become aware of these trends in order for us to overcome them. Otherwise, the results that we get, and we readily accept it, it could be actually bad information. Okay? So we're going to look at those areas of bias. We're going to start with this, okay? Population by race and ethnicity, and then their projections from 1960 to 2005, and then the projection to 2050. So this is a little bit dated, but still the numbers you can, they're helpful here. What do you notice about the percentage? This is the American cultural system, American society. What do you notice about the percentage of the white population over the course of these years? Chance?
It's going down.
It's decreasing, okay? And what do you notice about the Hispanic population? It's increasing. The African American black population is maintaining, and the Asian population, what do you notice there? It is increasing as well, okay? All right, so what does this have to do with psychological research, okay? In the 20th century, the participants of most psych research have a tendency to be of what racial group? Anybody want to take a guess? I know that you probably. So of these 4 different groups up here, the majority of participants in psych research in the 20th century, of the 1900s, the majority of them were which one? White, Hispanic, black, or Asian? Ms. Mirza? White, right? Okay, so whites are projected 2050 going to be less than half, okay? So what does that say that we need to start doing with our samples for the people that are participating in our research? What does that mean we have to do, Mr. Sammy?
Other races.
Yeah, exactly. So that means the stuff that we have done in the past has a little bit of a bias. It's applicable towards white people, right? But the question is it applicable to all racial groups, right? Can we apply what we have learned from the past research to all racial groups? And there's a reason why they have a tendency to be white, and we'll get to that here in a moment. Right? The percentage of non-Hispanic whites is going to decrease from now until 2050, so there's adjustments to the research that need to be made. Okay? Whites are overrepresented in psychological studies. Alright, so now we take the next step, asking the question is why? Why are whites overrepresented in psychological research? you could probably approach this in a couple different ways. You know, thinking about our society has a history of projecting the white population, creating a social structure that's advantageous to the white American, especially the white American male. However, I really want you to think about a different answer here. Where's most research, scientific research or psych research? Where does it take place? What location does the majority of that take place?
Here,
Here? Where's here?
America.
Okay, so that's a good start. So let's get more specific. Where at in the United States?
Research center.
Research centers, okay, good. Where are these research centers located?
In like big cities,
Big cities, okay. Within what institution?
colleges.
Colleges. Everybody got that? That's what I wanted to get to, okay? Most research centers are located on college campuses, okay? So, the majority of college students in the United States happen to be what? White, alright? A much higher percentage of college students in the United States are of a white racial group than of the other racial groups, okay? So that, again, contributes to this idea of why whites are overrepresented in psychological research, okay? Alright, so why are most college campuses predominantly white? Keep asking the question, why?
White people are more likely to have the ability to attend college, like whether that's like social, economic status or things like that.
Exactly, it's mostly about finances, right? About money and income, okay? The majority of students that are going to college, they have to have funding, they have to have money. White students are much more likely to come from environments where there is that opportunity. Right? They're born into advantageous environments, more advantageous environments in comparison to families of minorities. Okay? Now, does that mean that minority families are not attending college? No, it doesn't mean. It means that not as many that represent their percentage of the makeup of the American demographic system. Sound good? Okay, so that's what contributes to this overrepresentation of white students in colleges and then on psych research. Okay, there are other problems other than just race. Okay, so race is one of them, right? Where you have bias in research. Another one would be age. So if most research is conducted on college campus, it's easy for them, those people that are conducting that research, to go out and find what participants, what age of participants. College students, they're readily available, right? And they got some spare time. Not having any bias against me, but
We have a lot more spare time than people think.
so they can participate in research, right? Some of them look forward to it because sometimes there's some type of reward, monetary reward, whenever you get involved in research as well, okay? So there is an age issue, a bias towards young people between the ages of 18 and 25, okay? We mentioned the socioeconomic status, just to get into college. People that you're going to be included in your research, they're probably going to be from upper middle class type of environments. And then education levels, if they're on a college campus, you know, they're going to have a higher level of education than those that are not there as well, okay? So all this together, you know, the bias against race, age, educational background, socioeconomic status, all of that stuff categorized is called participant-related bias. Sound good? All of that is called participant-related bias. I think that may be it for today. Nope, there's gender bias. When conducting research on one gender only, this is in the past, right? Researchers will specify if the study is completely, or they did in the past, they would specify if the research was completely female, but they would not specify it and identify it if it was completely male. Alright? This is at the beginning of the 20th century. okay, and, or really kind of throughout the 20th century they would do this. They don't really do this anymore. They don't do this anymore, okay? Realize the faults. But what's wrong with that? They would come out in the results of the research, they would say this is research focused all on females. But they wouldn't say that if it was males. This
They're
moment.
acting like the research from males applies to everyone, but the female research doesn't.
Exactly. They're making it as if females are exceptional and then males are the norm. Everybody got that? So if it was all male, they would say, well, that's obviously applied to both males and females. And they're making that assumption, okay? And that automatic application. And then they're, again, almost creating this sense of inferiority. So you can see the bias there as well. So today, psychology is ironic. So you can see the paternalistic nature.
Pay attention with the freshmen with their last name starting with Q through the last name starting with Z. Q through Z, please report to the library for their school pictures.
So you can see the bias, right, in the history here. Now psychology today, it's actually the opposite. It was once dominated by males, now it's dominated by females. Okay? Whenever it comes to graduate degrees for individuals in psychology, it's like 65-70% of all graduate degrees are given to females rather than males. It's dominated by females. Right? Anybody got any ideas of why that would be? I don't have an answer to this, I'm just asking you guys. Any thoughts on why do you think females are dominating the field of psychology today rather than males? Ms. Brooke, you got an idea? It sounds like you got, it looks like you got an idea.
Because females are smart.
They're smarter. I know you were gonna go that direction. Ms. Bowman?
Maybe because like a psychology degree, you can be like a therapist, and I feel like females are usually more, they're able to listen
Uh-huh.
and more thoughtful.
Okay, better listeners, maybe more thoughtful, maybe more sensitive, could be as well as, I think there's this insightful component, right? Empathy, maybe, applicable there as well, okay? Alright, we're gonna stop there for today. This is getting into ethics, and we'll get to the 8 ethical components, guidelines that I want you to be familiar with. We'll do that tomorrow. So, the remainder of class, you have opportunities to work on your Pictionary review game. Sound good?